There we go.
Unless you want to record it.
Okay, this is the March 31st non-quorumed informal meeting of the EDIC. Call to order. I have a couple little things that I have to change about the agenda. We can't call what we recorded the minutes because they're not minutes because we haven't been quorum, so we're calling them notes. And once we do have a quorum, they're
still notes.
They're still notes. Okay, yeah, okay, but once we do have a quorum, we will introduce them into that particular meeting's minutes so that they will be part of. That's what.
Or introduce the notes as part of the record, maybe?
Yeah.
The notes will be part of the record, but they're still notes because.
Yeah, there'll still be
There'll
notes.
still be notes, yeah.
There'll still be notes. The other thing is I incorrectly put on today's agenda that we would be voting on the changing of the membership of one of the members who's not being here. And I was wrong. And that's going to be on April 21st. Okay? Generally, at the beginning of the meeting, we have what's called public speak, where people who are here, not part of the committee, are welcome to speak. If they are addressing us about a specific topic that's already on the agenda, we ask that they do it at that point in the meeting. So, first of all, are any of you here to address us publicly?
I don't have anything now.
Okay,
No.
cool, okay. Okay, so do you want to say something for public?
I wanted to say something, yes, and this has to cut to the recording of the meetings. On July of last year, this committee voted to do audio recordings of our meetings, and a provision in the motion that we passed said that those recordings would be posted at the Easthampton Community Access Television website and made available to us, of course, and the general public. To date, that has never happened. And as far as I know, there have only been 3 audio recordings available, of which I have 2. And those were kind of hard to come by. And I think that we need to to act on what, it got very confusing because we did not have, well, Michael, who's not here, so I don't want to say too much in his absence, except that he had volunteered, my understanding was to do the minutes. And based on the idea that we had an audio recording from which he could compile those minutes from. So that particular meeting, nobody was taking notes. So nobody takes notes because they're thinking that it's going to be recorded, but then there was no recording. So, it was kind of an awkward situation. So it's either we're doing it or we're not doing it, because I would like personally to video record and make those available. Well, we're not doing that, but at the very least, we did vote after a lot of discussion to post those audios to the website. It's never happened. I didn't want to stir up any trouble over it, make waves, do anything weird because of, people's perception of me causing trouble all the time over these things, and I don't want to do that. So I've been waiting for it to happen, and it has not happened.
What's the process, Dave? What happens? What happens to get it there? Okay.
What we theoretically, where in the past when it hasn't been posted, I have reached out to the ECA television, and they'll send me a link. And you're right, it has been about 3 times. But my memory serves me that I thought we were just going to do the audio recording for the sake of taking minutes.
No,
and I don't
consult the minutes, please. It's
okay?
right in there, directly in there.
Then I'll look in the minutes.
The motion that we voted on and approved says specifically that they would be posted to the ECAT website.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I'll get on them, make sure that it does happen then.
Just a question. How does it happen in general for any meeting? Like, so if the planning board comes in or the ZBA comes in and it's recorded, how does it get posted though?
Once a week, someone from ECAT comes into these video cameras, physically removes the cassette and brings it to their offices where they download it and do whatever basic editing, and then they replace it with a blank media.
And so that would be for any meeting that occurred in this
Any meeting.
particular.
That was recorded.
Everywhere.
So why
Including
wouldn't
ours.
our audio then pick
I
up
have
in
no
that?
idea, and as I said, I
Because
don't
the
wanna make the
EIC
calls, I don't wanna look into it.
That's fine.
I'd
No, but
rather have somebody else.
I'm with Dave, I'm just
We'll do that.
questioning process.
Well, I just
Well,
meant,
Jamie was
so if
gonna
they
say
come in
something.
on March 15th, and the last time they came in was March 1st, in theory, there would be 2 or 3 weeks of meetings, probably 3 or 4 meetings that would be on that cassette. And why wouldn't ours be part of that process?
Well, it is part of it. I think what the issue has been is that ECA TV has not been posting the audio.
Oh, I see. It's the
Okay, and
next
so
step.
I will take care of getting that corrected.
I think when they don't see a video, they just skip over
That
it.
what could be, yeah. So I will take care of, make sure that gets corrected.
Oh, I guess
But
it's
there's-
You know what I
the
mean?
audio part is messing them up.
Yeah.
Right, well, yeah,
They say, "Oh,
they're
God,
looking for the
something's wrong
picture,
with that
they're
video
not seeing
again."
it, yeah, and they skip over it.
Okay,
No,
Jamie,
but-
you were
but
gonna
it-
say, Jamie, you were gonna say something?
Yeah.
Or do you,
Doesn't matter.
is it a moot point? Okay, I wanna say something. A couple times I have gone through and transcribed the audio into print. And I know oftentimes little side conversations can happen in these meetings, and that's okay. I just ask that if someone has a side conversation, it not be right underneath the microphone. Because it's really hard to hear, because it just picks that up directly.
With other boards, have recorded meetings, audio and visual, taken the place of minutes?
No.
No.
In fact, it takes much longer to transcribe or make minutes from audio or video than it does just to simply take the notes. And I think part of why people think maybe differently on that is because people are putting far too much in the minutes than actually ought to be there. It's a very bad idea to be putting words in people's mouths in minutes. Rather, minutes should just say, this is who is here, this is who is not here, this is the business that was discussed, these were the votes taken. If it's not a unanimous vote, then you record the reasons for people the way they voted, period. That's
Okay.
pretty much it. So it's
Part of
pretty
the
easy,
problem,
actually.
part of the problem though is that we didn't have anyone who would volunteer.
I was
to do
doing
it,
it,
but-
and then, yes.
But could you be doing it on a regular basis?
I would be happy to do that, yes.
Oh,
I just think, you know, what happened, I was doing that, and then we voted to record, and then
Yeah.
Michael said he would do it, and then there was like a big
Okay.
kind of, ever since then, it's been like, what's going on?
Would you take that back up again? And we'll still do the
Sure.
audio? Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. I
thank you.
appreciate that, thank you. Okay, so obviously the next thing on the agenda of approving of the notes will not happen today. Little side note, part of public speak then, is I heard back, Karen heard back from the city lawyer, and yes, she does have the capability of reducing our numbers from 15 to 10. And we're Tom has resigned from the financial arm of it, so it'll all just be, and is being put on the EDIC, so it'll all just be EDIC. And it will be 10, but Karen has to go through think of it if you can, say it if you
The
think of it.
administrative code?
Pardon?
The administrative code, did you want that?
No, I was just
You
gonna
got it.
read what the name of the group was, but you can say it. Yeah, so it has to, he said, you may reduce the size of the EDIC to 10 members if you wish, but this must be done through the administrative code, see charters 6 through 1, or 6-1, requires submission to council, a public hearing, and et cetera. It could not be done by tomorrow. So given that, Mayor, how long do you think it will take?
Well, it's a city council process, so, I don't know, it requires approval. So anything that goes to the city council needs to go to them a week before their meeting, and then, they send it to subcommittee, review it then, and then get it back. So, we always estimate on just a typical transfer of funds is usually, kind of 2 months. So, they meet twice a month, except in the summer, June, July, and August, they plan on meeting only once a month. So it changes the process a little. But, I don't know if I've mentioned, to you before, but I do have the authority to make a, temporary appointment, which could be effective immediately, and I can do it for 30 days, and I can do it twice.
Oh, great.
So if that helps at some point in time, and I also wanted to tell you that I've had, including Mr. Brown, 2 other people interested in being on the EDIC. So, but now you want to go back to the 10, because it was 7, then it was 9, now you want to do 10, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what I think I would do is, I think I would probably, when I put together the administrative code, email it to you, so you can double check it, make sure it's what you're, you know, what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then I'll present it to the city council for approval, how's that?
Wonderful. Hey,
Okay.
if we can, if by our next meeting is April 21st, if by that time, we could have the executive order to have it be 10, as well as the other two new members.
The two, no, let me just bounce something up here. I don't see a problem with putting together the new members, putting that forward ahead of time, do you? I mean, is,
You know, if you're able to do it temporarily,
But
you
you're
do
doing
it
it right
30
now.
days.
oh, you wanna do the three, you wanna do 3 temps? You wanna do the temporary appointments of the 3 people, is that what you're thinking?
Is it 3 or is
So
it
we'd
2?
have a quorum.
There's 3, including Tom.
But-
Tom has
Oh,
to be
yeah, yeah,
I
appointed.
thought I heard Josh say
Yes.
something about, and I'm not sure I heard you say the same thing, Karen. Can you do an executive order to reduce the number? You can't, can you? It's gotta go through that process.
Yeah.
Oh,
An administrative code is what I have to do
For the
to,
town.
I have to do an administrative code to change your membership, which is what we were just talking about, make the EDIC membership 10.
That'll take time.
And then that takes time, but I can, at any point in time, you know, I would assume at your request, if you wanted somebody temporary appointed, that's on the spot.
great.
And I can do that for, it's a 30-day appointment, and I can do it twice.
So I would urge you then, or I would request that, yes, you do that for Tom and the 2 other members.
Okay,
Are
so
we
do the
able-
temporaries?
Yeah, are we able to say who those 2 are, or do we need to wait until it's official?
Oh, I don't think there's any, I don't think there's, I'd be happy to give it to you now, I think I brought it.
No, I think I know who they are.
Because I think, Josh, the irony would be, if we get those 2, and
We've got
Mike
Tom in
Burley's
here.
here, I think we'd have a quorum under our current
It's
numbers.
a stable.
Here we go, Josh.
That's the goal. The goal is to kind of inch towards that
Are
quorum.
you dissolving the IDFA, or is it just?
That's what's gonna happen too, yes. And that was why, Tom
Yeah.
resigned as
Okay.
the only member and
Yeah.
exactly put in there that it's not anything necessary and does all the same thing at the same time. But
Right.
again, I have to do it in some,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this. So can I
Okay.
say who it is?
I don't see why not. Appointments are, I would think all that's public
Obviously,
information.
Tom, yay. Also, Clay Crow would be another one. And a woman, Carol Abby Smith.
She from the arts group?
Yeah, she's an artist.
Very active, yeah.
Yeah, and,
And does it say that she wanted to be the liaison in there too, or would bring back the information to the ECA plus?
yes,
Is that-
yes, she'd be.
So I thought that was also
That's perfect.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so if you can bring them on.
So the irony
Okay.
is, we would have a quorum with those 2.
Well, would we, now let me see, so this,
Now we'll have a
1,
quorum
2,
when you
3,
come to-
4, 5.
Exactly.
Mo makes 6,
Mike Burley.
Mike makes 7,
And 2 more would make 9.
and 2 more make 9. Yeah, but Steve, that's still cutting it.
Oh, no, I'm saying, we still proceed, but the irony is,
Oh,
we
yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
able
We
to
can
have a
move
meeting and
business
take
forward.
votes.
You're right, you're right. Okay, well, so, yeah, then,
We'd have a quorum.
if that's the
Okay.
case, and everyone comes on April 21st, we might be able to act as a quorum.
now that will make all of your 10, correct?
That'll make
It'll give
9.
you
9.
That'll make
9.
9, yeah.
Okay, so you're still,
We're still-
you
still
still
have
have
one
one
opening.
vacancy.
Yeah, and I have 2
Okay.
more people that I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
Oh, I guess I
I
can't
mean,
ask
if
2,
we
I'll
get
ask
more-
one.
I was just
Too
gonna
many?
say,
No,
so
no, it's a
you don't want me to
number.
hold off,
No
No,
problem.
don't
because
hold
I
on.
can
Go
put these
for it.
forward to the council anyway, get
So the
that
chair
process
doesn't
going
vote,
too.
the chair then
And then
is
make
the
the appointment, so I'll
tiebreaker.
contact both of them, make sure that they
That
wanna
happens
be.
all-
Someone told me a long
It doesn't
time
really-
ago.
Hold on a sec.
There's no
Excuse me, one-
parliamentary rules.
What?
Sorry.
When is your, oh, I already saw that on here,
We
so
can
your next
make-
meeting is
April
4/21, so
21st.
what I could do, if you request, I could make those appointments effective for that day, which would give them, you know, all 3 are still interested, which we know one out of the,
Yeah,
one out of the 3 is, and then it would give them, you know, voting
Yeah.
authority.
I'll contact both of these people, the other 2.
You will?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'll tell them that you will make it effective April 20.
April 21 for your next meeting,
Great.
so that they could come in,
Okay, thank you.
be members, temporary, anyway, temporary, full members, but on a temporary basis pending their appointment
Okay,
process.
good. Cool.
Now, what is your exact membership now? Is that the 15? Is that what there you go, okay, so that's
That's
what's
why we
going
can
by,
never have
that's
a
why
quorum.
the, here we go.
We only have the
what I
potential
thought.
of having 7.
Quorum would be 8.
Yeah. quorum would be 8.
Okay, all right.
So thank you very much.
Nice, not a bad number, huh, David?
We will carry on. Does the planning department have a report?
Yeah, so I just wanted to, the phase 2 of the Mills project, or phase 2 and phase 3 of the funding are, for the Pleasant Street Mills are gone out to bid. The bids are due April 22nd, and that's for the infrastructure and parking lot behind the mill and the bike path improvements.
Good.
So that's, do they come in cheap? The city council is also discussing the sign ordinance. So there's gonna be a joint public hearing between the planning board and the city council ordinance subcommittee on April 22nd. If anyone wants to attend that meeting. And let's see, the permits, off the map tattoo is moving next door, or 2 stores over, to the old theater.
Wait, which tattoo? Off the map
Off the
is?
map, yep.
I think really.
Going where?
To where the old theater is,
Majestic,
Majestic, yep.
next to
Wow,
KF,
okay.
KB Homes, KW Homes?
I think they're moving, I'm not sure where they're moving.
Oh, they're moving out?
They're moving out.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Off the map's gonna do a big, they want a much bigger space.
Uh-huh.
This doesn't affect the felt
KW Homes is
Felton place,
moving out?
does it?
Or maybe
Apparently
or maybe
there's-
the Felton, someone's moving. There's an opening in that building, and that's where they're
Okay.
moving in. I'm not,
I don't think I think the felt isn't part of that building, but I could be wrong.
Felt's part of the old National Carpet.
Yeah,
isn't it?
right.
Well, actually, the Felt store has a storefront on Cottage Street, and then down behind,
Is the
where the
theater.
movie theater used to be, it's very high ceiling here. It's all down in there, it's really where their store is, it's quite large.
Yeah, they have classes and things back
Yeah.
there. It's a good operation.
so,
Okay, well, good.
and, yeah, that's it for,
Okay, thank you. Question.
Jane, oh, I have a question. What was the phase of, that we're taking bids on now for that?
so it's the second phase for the construction, but the grant funding that's funding it was 2 rounds of grant funding, so it's phase 2 and phase 3 of the grant funding,
Okay.
which got combined because of timelines and stuff like that into one construction package. There won't be a third construction phase.
I see.
The phase 3 funding monies got wrapped up into the phase 2, but because of,
Okay, thank
you
you.
know,
This is, when's it gonna be done?
the bids are gonna be opened on April 22nd. So that's when,
No, I meant completion.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Okay.
Are you able to speak at all to the promenade as to like when it's going to be finished?
June.
June?
I was gonna say it's on time.
Those are weekly, yeah, we have weekly meetings on that every Thursday at 1:30.
I know you can't say exactly, but do you think we have a good chance of having it done by Cultural Chaos on the 13th?
I'm hoping that they have not had any really time delays so far, even during this extreme winter, and this is a very timely project, and they're planning on June.
Wonderful.
Haven't heard anything different.
Okay, that's going to be great. Yeah. Cool, thank you, Jamie.
Josh, could
Yes.
I have that back, and I'll make you a copy
Oh,
so you can
okay.
contact them, and that way I'll have.
Either that or you could just email me
Oh,
the
okay.
stuff, that's
There
fine.
you go, thank
Do you
you.
mind just copying me on that too?
I'll do the same thing, I'll email, just Josh and you.
I just had one brief question on planning.
Mhm.
Is there any news on 15 Cottage Street? Is that completed? Are they moving in or getting ready to move in?
Last I heard, they were planning to be having residents move in January, so they're not.
Well, no, I heard January, February, and March. I know a lady,
In
but I just
April.
April?
They don't have COs.
Oh,
And they've been working with the building inspector and the fire chief on the certificate of occupancies.
uh-huh.
So,
So they're going-
obviously
they're
it
still
was,
working, they're
it
still
was
working.
December, January, February, March, April.
Yeah.
So they want to get their COs as soon as possible, but obviously the city is initiating them until they've met all the
Well,
requirements.
yeah, I'm not aware of anything. I was just
Right.
curious, just purely curious.
Yeah, and I do know that time is of the essence to the contractors, and they are actually like, working neck and neck on it.
Yeah, okay, good.
The next thing, membership discussion, as I said, we're gonna be doing that on the next meeting, but I want everyone to know, we did send out a certified letter, and we have not heard hide nor hair.
That she did receive it.
She did receive
So
it.
if you wanna keep that.
Okay, yes, thank you. Yep, we've not heard anything back. So, I feel very badly, but we have to do it. May cleanup day, unfortunately, Mo emailed me, this afternoon was not able to come today. But I did send back an email saying I'd like to make sure I get together with her before the next meeting so I can bring her up to date as to where we are. And I think, given that we've talked about the zoning thing a lot, I want to spend as much time as we need today on the planning, on the May cleanup.
Well, I think it's one of the easiest years we'll have, in the sense that the whole pond area is gonna be off limits.
That's right.
So, it's more or less having a point person, which maybe is gonna be Mo, maybe not, I don't know who, at the chamber office. That tends to be command central, if you will. And as people come in, especially families, so mom and dad and a couple little kids, you know, you might say, here's some brooms, go sweep, you know, someplace where it's safe, or rake or what have you. You know, the one area, other than sweeping sidewalks or picking up trash along the way, the one area I think that needs a lot of TLC is the parking lot on Cottage Street.
Yep.
And then the putting down of the mulch is a big event. Now, the big cheerleader of the mulch was Sue's husband, so I don't know how that's gonna work this year either.
Cheerleader, what do you mean?
Well, organizing, getting it down.
Oh, I
John?
did, last year I did that.
Okay, good.
And I will do that again. Well, actually, here's the thing.
You're in. All in favor? Aye.
But what about, I've also been volunteered to be the point person at the chamber. And I could direct that from there. Does anyone have a problem with me being the point person at the chamber, since Mo's never done it before?
No, not at all.
Okay, I'll do that.
But if Mo's gonna be around, she should be around to observe, to see.
Oh, yeah,
you
she'll be
know,
there. We'll
see how
we'll do it
the
together.
thing goes.
Yeah. I will contact Williston to get the mulch,
Yep,
and also to see if they can donate the time of a couple of their people
yep.
and their vehicles.
They wrote a
That's
check.
right, we have the money in the bank.
So,
Yes.
it's really just getting a price and getting it delivered.
And I'll do that. I did that before.
Yeah, so if you wanna just like call around and get 3 quotes.
Yeah, I
That'd
mean,
be great.
I would like to go. I'll get 3 quotes, but the guys who took care of us last year did such a great job.
Yeah, so we have $350,
Yep.
and that's the total.
Now, do we coordinate with Barb, or does she do hers
No,
on her own?
she's
She's doing hers on her own.
Okay.
Yeah, yep, so I will do both those things. And I think also if they would, just have them put in another $350 for the following year. So we're not, I'll talk to Chuck about it, see how he wants to do it.
Oh, it would come yearly.
Right, it'll come yearly, but so,
Well, I think.
they gave it to us last year, and we had already had funds from other sources. So, he could just give it to us again for next year. It doesn't have to be right away, whatever. I'll ask Chuck and see what his,
Let's hold off and we can do that together, because
Okay.
there's Williston contacted the mayor's office. They're having a big anniversary next year, and they want to do some more increased coordination
oh, great,
next year.
okay.
Oh, good
So-
plans.
It's the
Let's make a
it's-
list.
So
It's
I
the
just,
I love
so I
shopping
just want
lists.
to
I'm
make sure
good
that
at
we're
those.
all on the same page, and they're not
Okay.
getting hit up from multiple different things, and that it's
Okay.
all coordinated,
Okay.
and so just,
And that was a meeting with me and also with the chamber, so that they want to combine a community effort, like almost like a year and a half of a community effort on, you know, to work with the city, the chamber, and, you know, all the departments.
Great.
But,
They should start
I
early
think
this year.
I think I mentioned to Josh, we started the Epic Y.
Yeah,
Epic
the Big Y
Y is
people, yes.
interested, so
Yeah.
if you wanted to contact them on the, they wanted to be community, you know, have some community involvement for this year's.
That's great.
Um,
Can you
so-
send me a Big Y contact?
I don't know who that is. It was just a manager that walked up to me in the store And I had told them to contact that it was always the first Saturday of May, and to contact the chamber.
Okay.
But can we also, like, make different, could our property here get on there too? But I think they were interested in, didn't know, but were interested in maybe the bike path, but, I don't know who, like, would
Usually
it be you,
Barbara-
Josh, that makes the list as to where all
Yeah.
the areas would go? I know Barbara always
She'll coordinate the
gets her
bike path
group
usually,
for
yeah.
the bike path, but, I didn't know, like, will you be making a list of what areas?
Yeah, I'll do that with Mo.
So
And
maybe
then
you
we'll
could-
present it to the group on April 21st.
Okay, but maybe to Karen's point, maybe you could add 50 Payson, so,
And maybe
like, cause here,
32.
pardon?
Maybe we could add 32 and 50 and kind of spruce this.
What are 32 and 50? Oh, 50 is
Safety.
here. 32 is the firehouse.
Safety company.
Okay, okay.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know, just giving it an eyeball out there.
Just dig up the
and,
grass and pave it.
Okay.
And I also have somebody I sent along, we're doing the beautifications, but I have a group, the Angel Monument there, that they're interested
Okay.
in going from the Angel Monument, taking down the fence and coming right straight through here. So maybe that would be a good day to kind of organize that too. I don't know if you want to pull them in, Josh,
I could. Okay. You want to send me the information? I'll contact you?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I will.
I'm not sure how the Gazette used to get involved, but I can contact someone there. They used to put an ad out for us almost every year. Remember like in the summit, be a big, well, they go out and hit up all the businesses for the advertising costs, but I'll contact our rep at the Gazette and see how
That's
she
great.
coordinated that. Now, we used to have flyers though, that we put on all the
I
businesses.
just wrote down
too.
here, do
Okay.
flyer.
Okay.
I did it last year, so I will do it again.
When you
this
do
year.
them, just give me a stack, because they go fast in the
Yeah.
bank. and-
How did we have them printed? I know Sue took care of it last time.
Yeah, she just brought it.
Do they just print them there?
Yeah, well, and she used to send us an email with it, so I used to print them at school and then pass them out to the Keep Club and the Honor Society.
But she had them on
people.
red paper or something.
Yeah,
didn't
she had colored
Yeah,
people on them.
I will do that. I'll email to everyone.
Graphics.
perfect.
Yeah, graphics
Yeah.
on it.
Trash bags.
Trash
Paper
bags. I have sent, the bag themselves, I think we usually get from Manchester.
Manchester, that's right.
And I will contact them.
Do you coordinate
Carol?
with the DPW too, Josh? Is that you that does that?
Yes.
Okay.
My list is getting long.
Yeah.
DPW, street cleaning, and Manchester Ray bags. And I did send an email to James Zarvis.
Yep.
I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure he's been very helpful the last few years.
Picking them up, yeah.
So, we're picking them up. Yep.
I could do some of that. I have a van.
Oh, great, okay.
I
That's
couldn't
great.
last year because I was undergoing a lot,
That's
high
right.
procedures.
Yeah, I remember
so,
that. Okay, well, if
this
he's
year
not able to?
also for that.
If he's not able to?
Well, no, still, if he has a trailer.
Right.
So, I mean, some of the stuff is, well, actually, we're not doing the pond cleanup. Those were kind of wet and sloppy bags
Yeah,
from around
right.
the pond.
Yeah.
So I would anticipate most of this will be really dry brush and paper bags and stuff like that. That kind of stuff I can haul, no
There
problem.
likely could be a lot of sand in it though. and
That's okay,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's
So-
nothing wet and sloppy, muddy, gross.
So Williston's interested in the townwide cleanup.
I think
For
next
next
year,
year.
Next year.
correct?
Well, but wouldn't it be good for them to maybe have someone observe with Maureen from the chamber and also maybe have a point person at the chamber to
No,
observe?
they're doing a huge event. They're trying
Yeah,
to
but
do like an anniversary event that's kind of gonna go for a whole year, actually
But
a year and
Wilson
a
does
half,
have,
Jamie, right?
I mean, that's what I heard, that they
Yeah.
wanna do it for a year, and I was
Right.
just brought in just for the bit about next year's
Mhm.
cleanup day.
Same with me.
And I just wanted to make sure that we were, that any communication to them or
Mhm.
asking them to do things is just keeping in mind that,
Sure.
that and.
But Wilson does have Andrew Shefflow, I don't know what he does at the school, is now on the Chamber Board of Directors, so you could just ask Mo to talk to him. He's Williston, he's on the board,
Mhm. Yeah,
and he's
get him
part
involved.
he works with Chuck, so they, he's right there, they can coordinate and observe and.
Yeah, in terms of money, definitely, we'll go through on that, but I mean, in terms of.
In terms of other stuff that,
Okay.
Bodies,
Yes,
which is.
bodies.
Yeah, we're talking bodies and just
Yep.
learning, a learning process, so then they're ahead for next year because they've
Keep-
observed and they
keep in mind
can
we've-
see where they can maybe enhance it some for
Keep
next
in mind,
year.
the last 3 years that I've been involved, that we've had at least 3 or 4 Williston people working alongside us, so
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be an issue. Okay, so when we meet on April 21st, it'll just be to reconfirm everything, and I will work with Mo beforehand, so. Okay, anything else on cleanup day? Okay.
Again, just like you said, you're gonna create that board that will identify the
Yes.
areas. So,
Yes.
you know, 50 pace and 32 pace and the parking lot are the keys. The rest of it's the common sweeping of the
Right.
sidewalks, picking up trash, what have you.
Yes,
So-
and doing the fertilizer around the trees.
Yep.
And the mulch around the trees.
And the mulching, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Where's the fertilizer coming from?
I think
I
it comes
don't-
from Manchester's too, I think.
Does it?
I think so.
Okay. Manchester bags and fertilizer. Okay. Okay. Okay, about the zoning ordinance. No more about cleanup day? Okay. We had lots of conversations about it. And I'm kind of thinking, unless people have some really key points that are different from what we've already talked about, what are people's thoughts? Do people have more things that they want to add in?
I think that we should table it until we have our new members.
Okay.
Can I, the next joint council, or city council ordinance subcommittee and planning board meeting is April 7th.
Okay.
And it may be their last meeting, so
Last?
it may.
Ever?
No, on this issue. On this issue.
Okay. So then they would decide on April 7th.
They may, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen.
But they're making a recommendation back to the council, I assume.
Eventually, so they may decide at that meeting that they want more time to discuss it, they may decide that they've had enough discussion and they're ready to make a recommendation to the full city council. So I would sort of recommend to the committee that if something can be either presented to them verbally, like if you were to go to them and say, we've had discussion, there's these ideas were presented, these ideas were presented, we don't have any, we couldn't come to an agreement, but just so something that is formal, so that they're not waiting,
Yeah.
just waiting and waiting and waiting, and that the process keeps getting dragged out.
Yeah, it's not so much we couldn't come to agreement,
No,
it's
no,
that we
it's
were
really
hand-shot and
important.
couldn't take a vote.
Right. How do people feel about me doing that? And granted, I would encourage everyone here who has a strong opinion, one way or the other, to be there and to make their voices heard. Because we cannot do it as a group. I mean, if I stand up there, I can say, I'm Josh Rosenblatt, I happen to be chair of the EDIC, but I cannot speak as the chair of the EDIC. I don't think I can.
I mean, you could tell them that it's been discussed and that.
Well, yeah,
you
yeah,
can tell
that's
them
what I would say.
What was discussed, and you can tell them that there was no
I know, that's the
recommendation,
thing I
that
would
there's no
say, but it would
recommendation
be,
from the EDIC.
It wouldn't be a
Right.
consensus of the EDIC.
Right.
You would
That's
be
what I would
saying,
say.
Yeah.
this is,
but I would say
this is Josh's opinion in a sense.
Yeah, but this is, I am relating to you what I have observed at these meetings, but I cannot give you a recommendation from the body of the
At
EDIC.
this time, and that maybe on the April 21st.
If you haven't decided it tonight,
Right.
then.
So just so that way the process gets, you know,
Yeah.
if that's where they're at, and again, I don't know where they're at on this, if they're gonna vote to move forward, or if they're gonna keep the discussion going. but-
It is possible.
And then when it gets to city council, is this the first time it gets to the city council?
No, we're.
Well, right, so when it's recommendation back to the city council, then the city council will schedule a public hearing to decide as the council.
So it doesn't need to go to a subcommittee of the city council?
That's
No.
what this was.
Oh, this was a joint subcommittee, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one other thought about our new members.
Mhm.
I can't envision them coming on April 21st and coming to a meeting on April 21st and making a decision on this.
Right. Well, I mean, how do people feel about me letting them see what we've discussed? Just so they can at least be somewhat.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, because there's not a whole lot to say. We have some, we have a drafter, we have some opposers, we have no quorum, so we have no recommendation. I mean, other than that, what is it?
Right.
Well, I'm not agreeable to that, just so you know. I'm not agreeable to anybody making any representation, especially the chair of the EDIC, going before the city council and saying, this is what we discussed, because in the absence of, let me take a step back. If we're meeting unofficially right now, and we have for at least 2 meetings, possibly 3, been discussing these kinds of things. And we've been taking what have been various are referred to as unofficial minutes, and then just today, James brought up a very good point. They're not, even if when we have a quorum, those are not really minutes of our meetings, they're just simply notes.
Right.
Officially, they are just notes, even though they've been presented in format of minutes, just in case. And I haven't said anything about it because I'm trying to just go along with, you know, as much as I possibly can without saying anything. But that has been, Jamie expressed something that I've felt for a while, and known for a while, that they're not really ever official minutes.
They're not.
Because, so, to say that then, I mean, depending on how you expressed it, if you know, were to say, well, this, you know, I'm on the EDIC, and so this is what I heard. But still, that would be construed, possibly construed, as this is what the EDIC, the members were feeling. If I, for some reason, am not able to make it to that meeting, suddenly, you know, some of the things that you kind of portray me as saying or not, or just the general membership, I heard this and this and this, but you leave out some very important things that I have brought up at this table,
Yeah.
then I would feel a little shortchanged by that.
Well, you should.
And I think that if, and this has come up, you know, again, I think concerning the time that we meet, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a lot of people can't be here. Well, a lot of committees, you know, especially the city council meets at a time when people can be there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good reason why a lot of people who might want to say something here are not here, because they can't take off work. You know, we're blessed to have the time to do it, and
Yep.
I'm happy to do that. If somebody's not willing to show up at the city council and speak their mind at city council, I'm just really hesitant to say that I would want to have anybody there speaking on my behalf.
Sure.
And possibly misstating something that, you know,
That's
I
why
was part of here.
I really tried to stress that. I would not be saying I am representing anyone. I'm just saying this is what I just had an idea. These audio recordings, that's public record.
Absolutely.
Is there any reason we can't just send them the link for the 3 most recent ones?
You have the answer to that. I've been asking you for the links to the
Well,
recordings.
no, I know, but
forever.
I don't see why we can't give that to them. Say, look, we have not been able to meet as a quorum, but we have had discussions, and we can't represent the entire group in any way because we haven't had a quorum, but you are welcome to listen to the discussions that we've had.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I just wouldn't put a lot of stock in the fact that city council or planning are gonna sit down and listen to those and make heads or tails of them, the same way you. So I would strongly encourage David, Gail, Tom, Josh, Mike maybe, to show up at this meeting if possible and state, I mean, Tom Brown, member EDIC, here's my position, not EDIC's position, here's my position on this issue.
Yeah,
I think we all understand.
I
We're
do,
not
I
speaking
do
for
think
the
that,
group.
that you have a sort of, they're waiting for a recommendation from the EDIC. And I think that as the chair, it would, if you can stand up and say, we can't give you a recommendation because of the following reasons.
Yep.
At this time, and
Right.
you know, and let them decide whether or not they want to continue waiting for membership to change and for more discussion to occur, or if they just want to move along after they know that the committee can't. But I do think that needs to come to them at this meeting.
And I guess if 3 of us were there or 4 of us were there, Josh could then say, happen to be members of EDIC here who are going to give you their own position,
Right.
but not as a consensus.
Is that a
Is that
Tuesday
fair?
night?
It's April 7th is
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, yep.
Because if we can't get a quorum here, there can't possibly be a quorum if we all show up at that meeting either.
That's true.
And Josh, just about the links, I mean, I think it's a great idea to distribute the audio from these meetings. It is a public record, and I wanted to say something else about that. and I don't know how it's been mitigated by recognizing that the minutes that we've taken, the unofficial minutes. The notes, right? You know, open meeting law says that anything that's been used to prepare minutes, documents and all this kind of stuff. And well, if we were considering these minutes, then the audio would be required as a public record. We'd have to make that available.
Yeah, but we're not.
Yes, you would. Jamie,
No,
you
but we're
do.
not considering the minutes.
Absolutely.
You don't.
But we're not considering
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
minutes.
I just read it this morning.
Because
You can-
this isn't, this.
Time out, gentlemen, or people.
No,
I'm
not
sorry.
from this meeting, from official meetings where we have official minutes.
Okay.
Well, check it out. You should.
Okay,
look it up.
but we're not considering the discussions that we have had about the zoning ordinance minutes. Those are notes.
Well, in emails that you have been calling them unofficial
And I have
minutes.
said that I was doing that incorrectly.
Okay, right, so, no, I agree, so I'm
Yeah.
glad we, you know, straightened it out, but I'm just saying that the other implication of video recording the meetings is that, if they're used to prepare minutes from, like doing transcripts, which I would recommend not doing, you know.
Yeah.
Then they do become public record, and they have to be made available.
Right. And they are going to be. They are going to be. And I will share all the links I can where this has been discussed with the planning board.
But anyway, I think if you go Tuesday night, if you're able to make it, as a chairperson, I think you can say something very brief that's, wouldn't disparage anybody. I mean, we've had some discussions, we were unable to have a quorum, we are still thinking about, at some point in time, making a recommendation, but until then, this is what we have, not much.
Yeah, I may not even say this is what we have.
Yeah.
Until then,
Right.
these are my observations.
Well, yeah, but at that point, then it's you, not the chairperson.
Right.
Yeah, and that's fine with me.
And,
Yes.
and I think you'll know that that is exactly what this joint public meeting is for. It's to hear from the public, it's to hear from you as a
A citizen.
resident,
Yep.
as an individual, as a business owner. That's what they're looking for. I mean, you can't come to a consensus, you know, as a vote, as the EDIC, but you certainly have your own opinion, and that's what the public, that they have strongly advised people, if you have an opinion on this, you wanna be heard, you need to be heard. If you can't be at the meeting, put it in writing, again, as an individual.
Okay.
And they did listen to every single person at the last
They
one,
did.
and that's what these meetings are for, so
Okay.
that people can say what their opinion is, one way or the other.
That's good. Okay. So I encourage everyone to be there.
Did they give a time limit on how long someone can talk?
They didn't put a time limit on it the last time, you know, and then they let people, they just wanted to make sure that everybody had had a chance, and then they let people, you know, kind of go back, a second time if left something out or whatever. But
No,
that's
that's
exactly
nice.
what they want. They want to hear from people, and again, you know, you're talking about work commitments, everybody knows, or different types of time constraints, so they're looking for, you know, people sending in their information, you know,
It's good, they'll collect it.
but.
Something else that might be helpful is that if you go to Easthampton Media website now, you'll see some new meetings that were posted. One of the City Council Ordinance Subcommittee, and they had a meeting the other night, and a lot of this proposal was discussed there. There was, except for Dan Hagan, who was the only voice I heard. I could see him on camera, but I'm not sure that there were any other individuals there. But, so they're actively discussing it, not just within the joint hearings, but
They are good,
the
okay.
Ordinance Subcommittee has discussed it independently, at least last week or the week before. You know, it was last week.
That's unfortunate, because that wasn't.
I thought that was just the sign.
No, it was on
David. I
the
didn't
agenda.
know
I was
that.
surprised as well to see that it's discussed, but there is a video there. I was watching some of it today. I didn't have enough time to watch all of it. But it was on the agenda, and I guess so it was open for discussion by them, and they did, so I
Okay.
wasn't.
Because I know I was at
wasn't-
finance subcommittee, so I couldn't go to ordinance, but I was aware that it was about the, you know, the sign issue.
Sure. I think they wrapped that up. In fact, that was the first issue they took up, and then they voted And that's where I came in the video where they voted to approve that. So that's going for Wednesday night, I guess. The full council is going to take that up, as far as I know.
Okay.
And that hearing's gonna be April 22nd.
Okay.
That's the city council hearing.
That's the city council, that's when the hearing's been scheduled.
I see, okay.
I'm gonna change tacks here a little bit. When we, last July, when we talked about having audio recordings of this, there were members of the group that were vehemently against recording in general, but they acquiesced with audio only. Membership has changed since then. If, I'm not gonna do this now, but if just, I'm trying to get an idea, if we did a straw poll now, does anyone have feelings about whether or not if we just did straight video? I mean, it would make things a lot easier, and in my opinion, I think it would make it better for citizens trying to keep track of what we're doing. It'd be easier for them to watch a video online than to listen to audio. Does anyone have strong opinions one way or the other? And I'd really like to hear them if you do.
I have no objections.
Yeah, no objections. I don't think we can make a decision now.
We'd have to put
Well,
it
you
on the
can't,
agenda.
yeah, you
I
can't
put
vote on it.
I'm on the agenda for April 21st when you get the new members
Yeah,
and you
okay.
have quorum.
Yeah.
No.
But does anyone have opinions they want to?
I have, not only do I not have any objections to that, I would encourage it, especially if we continue meeting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking, Dave, point blank how you feel?
No, I don't have any problem with it. Some of my fears, that when it was first started, it was a form of intimidation, and it was being misused by some people. I think that's been cleared up. I think Easthampton media is getting their head out of their butt a little bit and being, and timely. I mean, now if everyone has to record, then the burden becomes on them to get it up.
Right. Okay.
And then they can't hide behind some of the things they were hiding behind previously. And I don't have any issue at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me either way.
Okay, great, okay. I will put it on the next meeting's agenda, because it would make life be easier.
Sometimes when you have a bad hair day, it can be
That could be everything.
I would love the
Consult with
opportunity to
Gina.
have a bad
Gina,
hair
together.
day. I'd scare to have a bad hair day.
I'm gonna scan these.
Okay, well, we might be able to give you a little bit of time back. I have nothing else on the agenda other than the announcement that our next meeting is April 21st, and I really want to emphasize, please try and be there April 7th for the,
What time is it?
The joint public hearing, I believe, starts at 6:30. The agenda should be posted to the city clerk's office. And I would just, I can send out a reminder email to the
Oh, we like
committee
those.
that would be
Those are
great,
good.
please do, yeah.
with the agenda for that meeting.
Okay.
Those are always good.
Okay.
Anyone else have anything else? Thank you for joining us.
And I'll get these to you and Jamie.
Great, thank you
Okay?
very much.
That was it, just the application.